Chicago Bears. What I'm not going to do is go on the Detroit Lions podcast tonight and talk about the Chicago Bears because they are a complete dumpster fire. The Chicago Bears have to be the worst ran organization ever. Ever. The Chicago Bears are terrible. But today, I woke up this morning. Yesterday, we talked about Matt Eberflus, right? We talked to Matt Eberflus, and we're like, he probably should have been fired. Matt Eberflus come out and said, hey, changes will be made. We're not benching Caleb Williams, but changes will be made. So I went to bed. I was pondering, like, man, what kind of changes could they be making? Well, first of all, I question myself, why am I laying in bed thinking about the Chicago Bears? Secondly, I'm thinking, like, why am I thinking about Matt Eberflus? Thirdly, I'm like, man, what is Beastie doing? Like, now I know how Combs feels each and every day. But woke up this morning, getting ready for the show, doing my research, reading, yada, yada, yada. My ticker came across the screen saying, Sean Waldron has been fired. Offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears has been fired. The first year offensive coordinator with the Chicago Bears has been fired. I was like, what? That's the big change that you're going to make? You're not firing yourself. You're firing Shane Waldron? The first year offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. What? You realize you have a rookie quarterback. You realize now he's going to be on his third offensive coach in less than a full calendar year, right? Dating back to college, right? College coach and then an NFL coach and another NFL coach. Third signal caller in less than a year? Like, what? What? Now, I understand that the Chicago Bears are the 29th ranked offense in the NFL. I do understand they're 169 yards passing per game. I understand they have 108 rushing yards per game. I understand they're only averaging 19.4 points per game. There's only two teams worse than them on offense, and that's the New England Patriots and James's Cleveland Browns. Matt Eberflus has emphasized saying they're not going to fire Caleb Williams. But the real question is, can the Chicago Bears recover from this? Can the Chicago Bears recover from firing yet another offensive coordinator? Can they recover from winning losing through 3 games in a row? Can they recover and save their rookie quarterback? Guys, it is a very real possibility that the Chicago Bears may not win another game for the rest of the season. Chicago Bears fans, wrap your heads around that. There's a very real possibility that you may not win a game for the rest of the season. This week they play the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love now owns the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers passed the ownership over to Jordan Love, and the Packers run over the Chicago Bears year after year after year. That's a loss. Then you play the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, those Minnesota Vikings, the ones that were 5-0 to start the season, the ones that everything was going right and people were on cloud 9 about. You're probably going to lose to those Minnesota Vikings. And then you play one of the best teams in the NFL. Not the best, but one of the best. You go into Detroit and you get hammered by the Detroit Lions. And then you're on the road again versus the San Francisco 49ers. And then you're on the road again versus the Minnesota Vikings. And then you're back at home to play the Lions, Seahawks, to back on the road to the Green Bay Packers. That schedule sucks. It is terrible. My best Charlie Barkley voice. That's terrible. Guys, the Chicago Bears are not going to recover from this at all. They're not. Interim offensive coordinator is Thomas Brown. Do you guys know anything about Thomas Brown? I sure in the hell didn't. So I went and did my research. This man was he was an all SEC running back from back in the day. He was a running back coach for the last 15 or about 10, 11 seasons in the NFL. He was a running back coach in Carolina and was promoted to offensive coordinator when in 2023 when the Carolina Panthers started 0-6. Yes, he won a game last season, but they went on to greener pastures. Now he's on a Chicago Bears team that's sitting at 4-5 on the season, losing 3 games in a row versus the Commanders, losing to the Cardinals, and losing to the Patriots. With the rookie quarterback, with the incompetent head coach. Guys, the Chicago Bears are never going to recover from this. We said it yesterday, and I'm saying it to today. They're not going to win a game for the rest of the season. This 3-game losing streak, let's flashback. Let's flashback to the 3-game winning streak when they beat the Rams, Panthers, and Jaguars. The world was on fire. The Bears are 4-2. We're tied for second place in the division. We're going to the playoffs. We're going to the Super Bowl. Caleb Williams is the rookie of the year. We have the MVP. We have the coach of the year. We have this, and now we have a 3-game losing streak. We're not going to win the coach. We're going to game for the rest of the season. If I was a Chicago Bears fan, which I am not a Chicago Bears fan. I want them to do well. I root for them because my man BC Combs is a diehard Chicago Bears fan, and I hate to see him cry every time they lose, but damn it, the Bears suck. The Bears are so bad. They are the worst ran organization ever. They have the worst coach ever in Matt Eberflus. Should have been fired last season. They have the worst general manager, Ryan Poles. Yes, you did some good. Yes, you made a splash. Yes, you did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but you haven't done shit since. None of that turmoil has changed into success. They have ruined 3 quarterbacks' careers in the NFL. Mitchell Trubisky, Justin Fields, they had tried to ruin Justin Fields' career, and now they're going to ruin Caleb Williams. Guys, the Chicago Bears are not going to recover from this. Firing Shane Waldron was a mistake. I understand 29th ranked offense. I understand it. Only 19 points per game. I understand it. 169 yards, passing yards. 69. The simple fact of the matter is, this is still a Matt Eberflus system. This is still a Matt Eberflus system, a defensive-minded coach, a defensive linebacking coach for the Dallas Cowboys from, 2010, right? The fact of the matter is, you keep bringing in these guys, and you don't ever produce. Don't ever produce. Defensive mind. You tried with Matt Nagy. Didn't really give him people around him to be successful. Kicked him out. But you're hanging on to Matt Eberflus. Guys, the Chicago Bears will not be able to recover from this at all. So the question is, guys, can the Chicago Bears recover from this? I want you guys to know answer that in the comments. Can they recover from this? Was firing of Shane Waldron a good thing? Is it a good thing? Laura says, I need that hat. It's on the merch store, Laura. Maybe we'll send out hats next quarter for Picks and Pundits. Yeah, we'll do it next quarter for Picks and Pundits. James Chamberlain says, yeah, it's a week to week with my Dolphins. It's all about running the teams other season now. Yeah. John says Aiden Hutchinson jersey is a superior football knowledge. Jeez. Mark D says, been saying it since the offseason. Chicago Bears should have hired Cliff Kingsbury. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? But I was listening to a other radio show today. It is the radio show that Combsy works for. I forget the name of it, but it's the radio show up in Chicago where he produces and stuff like that. And they were saying that nobody wanted to come to Chicago. Mark, they could have tried to hire Cliff Kingsbury all they want, but everybody in their dog knows that Matt Eberflus was on the hot seat before the season even started. And everybody in Chicago was saying, win, lose, or draw, Matt Eberflus is out of Chicago at the end of the season. So basically, why would Cliff Kingsbury want to go in there and put himself in a terrible situation, or any notable coach put themselves in a terrible situation and then try to come out on the other side? The Chicago right now is a no-win situation, and that's why they ultimately hired Shane Waldron, because nobody wanted to go there. He was like, I'll take it. And who are you? It doesn't matter. Come on over. They needed somebody. It was just a process of elimination. Cliff Kingsbury may have been a perfect fit for him. Also could have been Shane Waldron too. May have been. We've seen Cliff Kingsbury be successful in college. With Oklahoma and then USC. He has not been very successful as a head coach in the NFL. Maybe, just maybe, it's all Jaden Daniels in Washington. Maybe, just maybe, it's all Dan Quinn. Maybe, just maybe, it's not Cliff Kingsbury, but it's better than Shane Waldron, I guess, right? And John, all capital letters, let me clear my throat. He says, nope. The Chicago Bears will never recover from this. John, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe BC has been saying for the last 2-3 seasons, as long as we've been talking Chicago sports with BC Combs, he has said the only way Chicago Bears will ever be good is if Virginia McCaskey dies. And the girl's like 102, 103, 3 years old. We're not wishing death on anybody, but I was always dogging Combs like, what? Like, get out of here. This little old lady's not running the team. There's other people, right? He's like, no, I'm telling you, she does this. And Virginia McCaskey might be the drawback for the Chicago Bears. The only way they're ever going to get better is if she ultimately does die. And I don't want to wish death on anybody, but time has run its course. Sorry. James Shannon says, if the Bears lose out, they can get a number 1 pick again and draft another quarterback again. If the Bears lose out, okay, this would be the most Chicago-esque thing ever, right? This would be the most Chicago-esque Bear thing ever. Let's say they are in this tanking mode, right? Let's say they have lost to the Packers, lost to the Vikings, lost to the Lions, lost to the 49ers, and lost to the Vikings again. Just get blown out. Just getting humiliated, right? Last 3 weeks of the season, they play the Lions, Seahawks, both at home, and the Packers on the road. Let's say after Christmas Day, or right before Christmas Day, right before they play the Detroit Lions, the week before Christmas, Virginia McCaskey's like, Ryan Poles, I want you to fire Matt Eberflus. He's just not a very good coach. We've lost 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row. I don't want to see it. I want us to end us on a high note. Ryan Poles is like in the back of the like, hey, we're buying for a first overall pick, lady, but you're my boss. Matt Eberflus, you're gone. They promote, I don't know, Thomas, what was his name? Let me look it up again. Thomas Brown. They elevate Thomas Brown to intern head coach. So Thomas Brown has been the passing game coordinator for Chicago, which I forgot to add that. He was a passing game coordinator for Chicago. That's averaging 169 yards per game. Let's promote him to offensive coordinator. Yeah, we lose 5 more games in a row. 4 games in a row. 7-game lose streak. Matt Eberflus, you're out. Insert his interim title as head coach. Then somehow, some way, let's say they beat the Detroit Lions, they beat the Seahawks, and they beat the Packers to end on a 3-game winning streak to end the season. To make it a respectable season, right? They're 7-10 yet again. Second year in a row, they're 7-10. Bears fans are clapping. We found our coach. Hire the guy. And they hire him. And they not only do they not get the first overall pick, they hired a lame duck coach yet again. They are sold that he is going to win them a Super Bowl, get into the playoffs, win the division, yada, yada, yada. He's a bust. Fire him midseason next year. Caleb Williams gets another offensive coach, another head coach, his second and third ones in 2 seasons. And then, guess what? Everybody's saying Caleb Williams is so bad, get him out of town. He's Mitchell Trubisky all over again. He's Justin Fields all over again. Simple fact of the matter is the coaching staff is the issue. The organization is the issue. The Chicago Bears are the issue. That would be the most Bear thing to do, is to buy for the first overall pick and then fire their head coach, get a little spark, and then bada bing, bada boom, win 3 games to make it 7-10 on the season. That would be the Bears thing to do. Derek said it yesterday, or they're keeping that head coach. You said that, Derek, or the Chicago Bears organization said that? Because Matt Eberflus is not coming back next season. There are 3 coaches in the NFL not coming back to their teams next season. One of them is Matt Eberflus. The other one's Mike McCarthy. And the third one is Brian Daboll. Not going to happen. Laura says, Where's my mouse? There it is. Laura says the Browns should have waved the white flag and forfeit the rest of the season. I'm just saying. AKA, Laura, you are scared of the Chicago Bears. You do not want 2 wins from the Chicago Bears come when they beat down the Minnesota Vikings. You can say it. It's okay. John says the Bears need offensive line. Meh. If I remember correctly, during that 3-game winning streak, the Chicago Bears offensive line was ranked 10th in the NFL per PFF. And I bet you if I look it up right now, they'll still be top 12. The Bears offensive line is not good. PFF is very, very flawed, but their stats do give validity that they are decent, right? But I'm just saying. James says the Bears need to trade tight end Cole Kmet. He could be one of the best tight ends on another team. Anybody on the Chicago Bears roster could be better than they are now. Rome can be better. Who was that cornerback that they just signed? Jaden Daniel. Jaden somebody. They made him the highest paid cornerback in the league. Keenan Allen. He could be traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, be the best receiver in the in the league. DJ Moore, trade him back to the Panthers. The Chicago Bears are just terrible. Terrible. Sarah's in this. Well, what's up, Sarah? She says, Bears can't even beat the Patriots. Quit talking about beating the Packers and Vikings. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just saying, Sarah, in theory, that would be the most Bears thing that could happen. They fired their coach the last 3 weeks of the season after losing 7 games in a row. At that point, the Detroit Lions will probably have the number 1 overall seed locked up. No need to play the last 3 weeks of the season. The Packers have the 5th seed locked up. No need to play for the rest of the season. And the Seahawks would be out of it. So that would be the most logical thing to happen. Is they can compete with the Packers and Lions in those last 2 weeks. And I simply just said the Vikings just to dog Laura, and Laura's like, BS. The Bears are not beating the Vikings. They're not. But Sarah, thank you for your comment. We appreciate that. John says, nope. After the last couple weeks, check it out. You Google it. Let me Google it. Bears offensive line ranking. Well, guess what, John? I just looked it up. The offensive line ranking for the Chicago Bears is 12th. Like I told you. Below them are the Rams, Texans, and Chargers. 13, 14, 15. Like, come on. I know my shit, John. The best offensive line ranking is the Detroit Lions. Then you had the Falcons, and then you had the Browns, and the Eagles, Chiefs, Jets, Packers, Colts, Bengals, Vikings, Broncos, and then the Bears. Come on. You act like I don't look at this stuff. This is per PFF. It's 100% wrong, but that's what PFF says. 12th ranked offensive line in the NFL. Hell, they got the Chiefs as a top 5 offensive line. We know the offensive line is not very good for the Kansas City Chiefs, but whatever. You know who the worst offensive line is? The New York Football Giants. Oh, man.